Thank you for taking these few minutes to watch this video before your child's parent-teacher conference. It's really important, particularly because of the unique learning situation this year, for us to go over the concepts of mastery learning and growth mindset so that we can be on the same page and really help our students grow. And I wanted you to watch the video first so that we don't have to spend as much time during the parent-teacher conference just talking about concepts and ideas, and we can spend the bulk of that live time together going over your students' information that's personal to them. So first we're going to talk a little bit about growth mindset and fixed mindset. This is going to be a super quick overview. So if you want more information about this, it's a concept that was developed by a Stanford psychologist named Carol Dweck. And there's all kinds of information online and videos about fixed mindset and growth mindset. Just very quickly, a kid with a fixed mindset is going to believe certain things about themselves and about their capability of learning. They're going to believe that failure is the limit of my abilities. I'm either good at it or I'm not. My abilities are unchanging. They're going to probably think I don't like to be challenged. When I'm frustrated, I give up. They're going to believe that their potential is predetermined. So they're either born smart or they're not. They're going to perceive feedback and constructive criticism as personal attacks, and they're going to stick with what they know. So a child with growth mindset is going to believe that failure is an opportunity to grow. They're going to believe I can learn to do anything I want, and challenges help me to grow. And a quick note, even if a child starts the school year with a fixed mindset, they can make a shift and they can turn into a kid with a growth mindset pretty easily just by shifting their thinking. And we'll work on that throughout the year. So they believe that challenges help them to grow. They're going to believe things like my effort and attitude determine my abilities. They're going to believe feedback is constructive and it's meant to help them. They're going to be inspired by the success of others, and they're going to really enjoy trying new things. So there's also a difference in teaching styles versus covering curriculum, which is how a lot of us grew up in situations where it was a more traditional teaching method and teachers were teaching content either from a textbook or some sort of curriculum, and some students would get it and some would kind of sort of get it, and then others would be completely lost. And students at the end of a unit would take a test or they would turn in an essay, and the work would be graded and returned. And then regardless of what grade they got, the teacher would just move on to the next unit. In this kind of a situation, students can end up with big gaps in their learning and they can easily fall behind. Teaching for mastery is what I try to do in every situation. In that situation, the teacher teaches the content from the curriculum still, but then the students spend significant time practicing that skill. And then during or after the practice time, the teacher will check for student understanding and give a lot of constructive feedback. So sometimes that feedback will come from a computer program, as it does in IXL, and sometimes it will come directly from the teacher. And if the students can take in the feedback without becoming defensive, and if they can keep practicing, they'll eventually master the skill and become experts at it. So feedback is often given verbally, especially in when we're in regular school. I'd be walking around and giving feedback all day long in an informal way, talking to kids, leaning over their desk and, giving them a few pointers, that kind of a thing. So there is a lot of verbal feedback that happens over Zoom, but there's also feedback given in different formats. I'm going to skip. So feedback can be given in different formats, like over IXL. It might look like this. They might get a message after each problem that they complete. They will pop up with a message, and it'll either say great job and they'll see their SMART score improve, or they'll get a message that says sorry, incorrect, but it will tell them what the correct answer is, and it will go ahead and explain the incorrect answer and why it's incorrect and give them an example of how to do the problem correctly so they can be learning from their mistakes in live time. I can also send personal messages that pop up in real time while students are working. like this one. And that's a really awesome tool. Another thing that you might see, and for some reason it didn't load on my PowerPoint here, but you might see when they do an essay, you're going to see comments pop up on the side that are teacher comments, and it'll be something very specific. Like it might say, wow, you did an excellent job using transition words in this essay. One thing I want you to work on is indenting the paragraph and making sure that your topic sentence is very clear. It'll be something really specific that they did well and something specific that they need to work on. So we basically have two different scenarios that can happen during remote learning that can be really affected by the students' beliefs and by the messages that they're getting from home in terms of how to think about remote learning. So in scenario one, if we were just covering curriculum, students would attend Zooms, but they would do very little of the assigned work. And the result would be weak skills and bored, unengaged students with low confidence. And I really believe that if kids get the message that remote learning is too hard and that we feel sorry for them, if they get the message that assignments are optional, they won't complete the work and they won't grow very much this year. And they really are in danger of developing bad habits and a lazy mindset that could have a long-lasting negative impact on their educational outcomes. I'm really concerned about this. If kids get the message that it's too hard and that it's optional for them to complete work. But scenario two is actually a really positive one. So in terms of mastery learning during remote learning time, students would attend Zooms and do their assigned work. They'd practice new skills, listen to teacher feedback, and ask for help when they need it. And the result would be solid skills and engaged, joyful students who are confident about their ability to learn. I truly believe that if kids get the message that challenge is good and mistakes are opportunities to grow, and that we believe, the teacher and the parents, we all believe that they are capable, that they will grow exponentially. If, when they're faced with a challenge, a child learns to set goals and dig deep and work hard to accomplish those goals, they will feel an incredible sense of joy and accomplishment, and they'll reap academic benefits. They will develop habits and mindsets that set them up for academic success for years to come. I truly believe that this is possible, and I see it every year. Long about October, there's this buzz of excitement that starts to happen in the classroom as kids start figuring out that they're responsible for their learning, and as they see themselves mastering skills that they never thought they could master. It's really exciting to see, and I wasn't sure how it would go on remote learning, and I'm seeing that buzz of excitement happening already. So I wanted to show you, this is something that was exciting for kids last week, so I wanted to just give you a little snapshot of it. Students can see where they stand in terms of mastery on IXL at any time by looking at their SMART score. So basically the computer's updating their, quote, SMART score every time they're answering questions. And you can see like, hey, I'm working on long division and I had a SMART score of 35 to start out. Hey, but now I have 75 and now I have 81 and now I have 91. You know what? I really want to master this. And if I keep going, I might even get a SMART score of 100. And if they, what I tell them is that they need to get a SMART score of at least 80 before moving on to their next assignment. Because if they have a SMART score of 80, that tells me that they understand the content and they're just maybe making a few little mistakes, but they're very solid in their understanding. But I challenge them to challenge themselves to a SMART score of 100. And if they do get a SMART score of 100, they get this little gold medal and a little bit of feedback from the IXL program. And then they also have a conversation with me and we talk about being perseverant and working hard. It's pretty exciting. Another kind of feedback that they will get is whenever they write an essay, I usually have a checklist that they're working with as they're going. And you can see this is Valentina's for her dog essay. She did a fantastic job on her essay, and you can see where her growth area was just using transition words, such as to begin with, next, and finally. And she was missing her conclusion paragraph, but otherwise it was a well-written and thorough essay. She went back and fixed that and ended up getting 100 out of 100. This over here is a sample of a student's Newsela reading comprehension scores. And I really encourage the kids, these articles are challenging and the comprehension questions are challenging. And a lot of kids in this class are below grade level in reading in terms of they can decode all of the words, but in terms of their comprehension, that's a growth area for a lot of kids. So many of them are getting 25% or 50% the first time that they take one of these quizzes on Newsela. So I'm encouraging them to read the article and then reread the article if they get a score of less than 50%. Reread it and take the quiz again and try for mastery. So the big takeaway from today's talk is just that students will grow most when they're willing to accept constructive criticism. And that means they know that we believe in them and that we just want their work to get better and better. So if we give them criticism, it's in order to help them grow. So students grow most when they're willing to accept constructive criticism and go back to fix and revise their work. They grow when they're willing to put in the time and the effort to learn.